You could not have picked a better conversation to spend your time on today because what we are diving into is one of the most valuable things you could ever listen to regarding your health, your longevity, and what it actually feels like to age. Today, we are looking at something that sits on a millions of nightstands, but almost nobody talks about the real world reality of it. I am talking about amlodipine. Because after 5 straight years, this little pill is doing a whole lot more than just shifting your numbers on a blood pressure cuff. And honestly, the reason your body is reacting this way has nothing to do with how bad your blood pressure is. It comes down to pure time. Think about it. You have had 5 years of this medicine forcing your blood vessels to stay wide open 24 hours a day, while your body has also been beautifully aging for 5 years. You put those two forces together, and it completely changes the rule of how your blood flows. But patients are almost never warned about it. And once you understand what's actually happening under the hood, every single symptoms you have been blaming on just getting old starts to look entirely different. Now let's establish something incredibly important right away because I want to give you the total peace of mind. Amlodipine is protecting your heart. I want to say that first because everything we talk about next only makes sense if we honor that fact. If you look at that hard science, the massive gold standard clinical trials, amlodipine has a proven undeniable record of stopping strokes and saving lives. So when your doctor prescribed this pill, they were making already a brilliant decision backed by the best science we have. That protection is 100% real. What we do need to look at is physical bill that medication has been asking the rest of your body to pay day after day for 5 years straight while it been doing the heavy lifting of keeping your heart safe. Let's look under the hood at what's actually happening to your legs. Amlodipine works like a lock on a door. It forces the tiny pipes in your lower body to stay wide open. Not just when you take the pill, but every single minute. It's in your bloodstream that keeps your blood pressure low. But keeping those pipes stretched open all day creates a massive traffic jam downstream. It jacks up the physical pressure in your tinier vessels, and that pressure start pushing fluid out through the sides of the walls right into the surrounding tissues. And because gravity is always pulling downward, and all that fluid just pulls right around your ankles and lower legs. In the beginning, it uses its built in backup system, your natural drainage networks, your veins, and your calf muscles acting like a pump. When you walk, it scoops that fluid up and sends it back up north to your heart. In air 1 or air 2, the pill pushed fluid out, your body pumped it back in, and you did not see a thing. But remember, this is the reality of the 5 years. The pill did not change, but your body changed underneath it. As we get older, our natural drainage system slow down a bit. Our veins get a little less stretchy, and let's be honest, most of us are not moving quite as much as we used to. So that the calf muscle pump is not working at full capacity. It happens quietly without us even noticing. Your prescriptions was written for the body you had 5 years ago. There is no automatic update. The medicine keep pushing with the exact same strength, but the body it's pushing against is different. The exact day your ankles start swelling, was not because the drug suddenly went bad, it was the day your body's natural drainage system simply ran out of room to hide the fluid the pill had been pushing out the whole time. That's why you can't compare yourself to your friend or your neighbors. Two people can take the exact same pill, but one person drainage system can handle it while the others can't. It's a direct matchup between what your body can still drain versus daily pressure of the little pill. Now let's talk about the dizziness. We know from the data that a fall or a hip fracture as we get older is an absolute game changer for our health. It's incredibly dangerous, and almost every single moment starts with the simple everyday act of standing up out of a chair. Normally, your body has an automatic reflex that works faster than a camera flash. The milliseconds you stand up, your body vessels are supposed to instantly snap tight to push blood straight to your brain so you stay steady. But for 5 years, amlodipine has been playing a game of tug of war with that reflex. Every time you stand up, your body says squeeze, and the pill says no, stay open. In your first few years, your body had the reserve strength to win the tug of war. But 5 years down the road, the reflex is a little bit slower, and the vessels are little less responsive. So now, those few seconds where your brain is waiting for blood flow, you are actually starts to feel them. The room shifts, you feel unsteady. You have to wait a bit. Listen to me. That is usually not a balance problem. And it's not just you falling apart. That is your body natural standing reflex losing a 5 year competition with your medication. The fix for this is incredibly simple, but you have to make it a daily habit. You need 2 seconds of deliberate stillness. Don't just pop up out of a bed or a chair. Sit at the edge for a moment. Pause before you take that first step. Give your body time to close the gap that the drug is forcing open. 2 seconds of patience to the contract 5 years of pharmaceutical pressure. And you can actually feel this entire struggle playing out across the clock of a single day. You take your medicines in the morning and it start pushing fluid into your legs immediately. By the time 2 or 3 in the afternoon rolls around, your body's natural drainage system have been working overtime for hours. They are completely running on a empty. So so that heavy exhausted lead like feeling in your legs by the evening. It's not standard fatigue. It is a physical drainage system completely wiped out. And just sitting down on the couch would not fix it because sitting doesn't change the physical pressure trapped in your legs. And now I want to share something with you that I consider the absolute most important revolution in this entire conversation. It is a massive trap, and I need you to hear me on this. In medicine, we have a phrase called the prescribing cascade. It is a fancy way of saying a domino effect. It's what happens when a medicine causes a side effect, but instead of realizing it's a side effect, a doctor misinterprets it as a brand new medical issue and writes you a prescription for a second pill to fix the first one. And nobody ever draws out the map to show the patient how they got there. Think about how this unfolds over 5 years. Amlodipine causes the fluid to pool. Your reserves run out and the swelling finally shows up. You go to an appointment, show your doctor your ankles, and because it's a fast-paced environment, you get prescribed a water pill, diuretics like furosemide or hydrochlorothiazide. The doctor intention is wonderful, but the science is completely mismatched. Water pills drain a fluid from your entire body, but amlodipine swelling is not a too much fluid problem. It is a local plumbing problem in your ankles caused by the drug. The draining your whole body's reserves should not fix a local pressure issue in your lower legs. Looks a little better,
but the pressure is still there, so you stay on both pills. And now that second pill starts creating its own problem. It slowly drains your potassium in the background, which leaves your muscles feeling weak and tired, which you just assume is getting old. Worse, the water pill drops your overall blood volume. The exact blood volume you are standing reflects desperately needs to keep you from getting dizzy. So now the dizziness get worse. Seniors who are on this exact combination, amlodipine plus a water pill, have a significantly higher risk of falling compound to the people just taking amlodipine alone. Look at the chain you got caught in. You started with one medication. 5 years passed, the reserve ran out. The side effect was treated with a second medication, and that second medication is now draining a different reserve, making you tired, weak, and dizzy. And look, I am not blaming your doctor. It's a reality of compressed 15-minute appointment. There is just no time in that environment to map out a domino effect that took half a decade to unfold. You said your ankles were swollen. You walked out with a second script, and the loop was never closed. There is a strange consequences of this drug that people constantly blame on the wrong things. Your gums. Amlodipine does something highly specific to the cells in your gum tissues. It has nothing to do with blood pressure or fluid. It chemically signals those tissue cells to slowly multiply and grow. It's so gradual that you had never noticed it day to day, but eventually you go to the dentist and they look in your mouth and tell you that you need to floss more because your gums look thick or swollen. Now, flossing is a great, but flossing cannot stop a chemical signal from a pill that is telling that tissue is keeping growing. I have seen a patient who have pristine oral hygiene, who follow every rule, and they still watch their gum change shape. They are incredibly frustrated because no one gave them the right explanation. It's a classic information gap. Your medical doctor is looking at your heart and your blood pressure. They are not looking closely at your teeth. So your dentist see your gums changing, but they might only know you take a generic blood pressure pill, not the specific molecule. But amlodipine is notoriously the number one blood pressure drug linked to the gum. If the dentist doesn't know the exact molecule, they cannot connect the dots. If the doctor doesn't see your mouth, they cannot either. Next time you see your dentist, give them the exact name amlodipine. That single piece of data completely changes how they look at your entire mouth. Before we go a single step further, I want to stop right here because what I have just described could easily sound like I am telling you to throw this medication in the trash. I am absolutely 100% not saying that. The data from the decades of massive trials prove that amlodipine saved lives by cutting down the risk of catastrophic strokes and heart attacks. That evidence is rock solid, and nothing I am saying changing that. The question we are trying to answer today is not whether you should be on medicine. It's about recognizing what 5 years of it has been asking of your body while it keeps you safe. You are not crazy. You are not just falling apart. The swelling, the dizziness, the afternoon heaviness, these are simply the exact thresholds where your body finally ran out of room to absorb that medication's pressure in silence. The great news is amlodipine swelling is very easy to identify. If you know what to look for, it has a very specific signature. First, it affects both legs equally. It's completely symmetrical. Second, it's what we call pitting swelling. If you press your thumb firmly into the swollen area for 5 seconds and let go, It leaves a dimple or pit that takes a while to fill back up. Third, it's worse in the evening and mostly goes away overnight when you have been lying flat in bed. And finally, the skin looks normal. There is a no stain discoloration or tough, leathery texture changes. If your swelling matches that exactly, that's the drug. But if any of those things are missing, that's an immediate signal that something else might be going on and you need to get it checked out. If you have swelling plus shortness of breath when you lie flat, like you need to prop yourself up with three pillows just to sleep, or you wake up coughing, amlodipine does not do that. That means your heart is under more pressure than it can manage. You need a cardiac checkup right away. If only one leg is swollen or one leg is significantly bigger, warmer, or more painful than others, amlodipine works evenly. One sided swelling usually points to a vein issue, like a clot, and you need an ultrasound right away. If the swelling is in your face or hands when you wake up, or your urine looks unusually foamy, that could mean your kidneys are letting protein leak out and you need a basic lab panel within the week. But if it's equal on both sides, it's when you press it and clear up by morning, that's the drug. And here is how we tackle the physics of it. Here are five simple real world things you can do to take the pressure off your circulation starting today. Based on the evidence, number one, actively engage your cough pump before you sit down for a long time and right before you get up out of a chair. Do 20 ankle circles in each direction and 10 calf raises. Squeezing those muscles is the exact mechanical trigger your body needs to pump that trapped fluid out of your legs. Try to do it every 40 minutes or when you are resting. Number 2. Use graduated compression socks. Looks for medical grade socks labeled 15 to 20 millimeter of mercury. The trick is to put them on first thing in the morning before your feet even hit the floor, before the day's fluid even has a chance to start pulling. Number 3, elevate with the right geometry. Just putting your feet on a footstool doesn't work. You need to lie flat on the couch or bed with your ankles physically higher than your heart. Use a couple of foam pillows. Do this for 30 minutes in the late afternoon to completely reverse the gravity gradient when your legs are heaviest. Number 4, keep your salt steady. I am not telling you to live on a miserable zero salt diet. Just be consistent. Sudden big spikes in a sodium, like a very salty restaurant meal, cause rapid fluid shift when you are on this medication. Number 5, walk just 30 minutes a day. Even if you break it up into 3 10 minutes intervals, the physical impact of your feet hitting the ground acts like a mechanical pump for your veins. When you go to see your doctor next, don't just walk in and say, "Doctor, my legs are swollen." That's how you end up with your another prescription. You want to have a targeted, expert conversation about adjusting for a 5-year milestone. Here are the exact questions you should bring to your appointment. First, would moving my amlodipine to right before bed help reduce my daytime swelling? Shifting the pill to nighttime moves the peak strength of the drug to the hours when you are already lying flat. So gravity is not fighting your legs. It's low risk and highly effective. Second, given my heart health, could we add a very low dose as inhibitors or and ARB so that we can lower the amlodipine dose? These are These are other classes of blood pressure drugs that naturally contracts the exact fluid shift amlodipine causes. It's a very common smart combination strategy. Third is there a different class of medication altogether that would protect my blood pressure just as well, but given my capillaries a break. Depending on your health profile, there might be a better match for the body you have today. Fourth, can we run a basic blood and urine test today? This is just a standard good housekeeping to check your kidney and liver and confirms the swelling is purely from the pill. And finally, if you are already taking a water pill for the swelling, ask this: is this water pill actually fixing the cause of the swelling, or are we just treating a side effect of the amlodipine? That question gently forces a clinical review of the whether you are truly need that second drug, or if you can manage things better with physical steps like compression socks. Please, whatever you do, don't change your dose or stop taking your amlodipine on your own. Quitting a blood pressure medication cold turkey can cause your blood pressure to dangerously spike or trigger a serious heart event. Any shift has to be done safely, hand in hand with your doctor. 5 years ago, when you first got this prescription, it was probably a very short conversation, right? Your pressure is up. Let's protect your heart. Take this every morning. That brief appointment just did not have the runway to explain what 5 straight years of forcing your blood vessels open would ask of an aging body. It did not explain the threshold where your drainage system would finally fall behind, and it did not warn you about the domino effect that connects a first pill to a second pill across years of separate doctor visit. Your medication has been doing two things at the exact same time. It has been beautifully protecting your cardiovascular system with life saving data, and it has been keeping up a continuous pressure that your body has had to absorb system by system until the capacity simply ran out. What you have been calling just getting old is partially just that. It's your body paying the physical bill for a long term pharmaceutical state. That is not a reason to panic or stop. It's, uh, it's simply the complete picture. The exact picture your 15 minutes appointment just did not have the time to draw for you. And thanks for watching, taking care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.